Imagine, for a moment, standing at the edge of a vast, whispering forest at dawn. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of pine and possibility. Your heart, perhaps a little heavier than you'd like, beats with the quiet rhythm of uncertainty. You've arrived here not by accident, but by a series of steps, each one a choice, deliberate or fleeting, that led you to this threshold. This is where our journey begins, dear friend, in the gentle embrace of Your Future is Built by Your Choices, a book that doesn't shout its truths but unfolds them like petals in the morning light. It's a compass for the soul, reminding us that the life we inhabit tomorrow is not forged in the fires of fate, but sculpted with the tender hands of our daily decisions. As your guide through these pages, not as a distant authority, but as a fellow traveler who has stumbled and risen, let us walk together, pausing to feel the weight and wonder of what it means to choose with intention. This isn't a hurried lecture, it's an invitation to sit with the echoes of your own life, to let the book's wisdom stir something ancient and alive within you. At the heart of this book lies a simple yet shattering revelation: every choice is a brick in the cathedral of your future. The author, with the quiet authority of someone who has rebuilt their own world from fragments, begins by dismantling the illusions we cling to, the myths of luck, destiny, or external saviors that whisper, "It's not up to you." Instead, they invite us to see choice as the sacred thread weaving through the tapestry of existence. Consider Sarah, a woman I once knew, whose story mirrors the book's opening parable. In her mid-30s, Sarah was adrift in a corporate sea of fluorescent lights and forgotten dreams. Mornings blurred into evenings of scrolling feeds, numbing the ache of unfulfilled longing. One rainy Tuesday, staring at a half-eaten sandwich, she chose differently. Not a grand leap, but a small pivot. She closed her laptop and enrolled in an evening pottery class, her fingers trembling as they touched the cool clay. That choice wasn't about quitting her job or upending her life, it was about reclaiming a sliver of joy, a whisper of creativity long silenced by shoulds. Over months, those weekly sessions became her anchor, birthing not just misshapen bowls, but a renewed sense of self. Sarah's transformation wasn't dramatic, no TED Talk moment, but profound in its ordinariness. It taught her, as the book so eloquently does, that small choices compound like interest in a hidden account, building wealth not of gold, but of fulfillment. What if, in your own life, that overlooked email you send with kindness, or the walk you take instead of the scroll, is laying the foundation for a tomorrow rich with connection? Feel that possibility now, the quiet thrill of agency, the emotional swell of knowing you are the architect. But oh, how we resist this power, don't we? The book turns next to the shadow side of choice, the fear that paralyzes, the inertia that masquerades as safety. Here, the author speaks with the compassion of a healer, acknowledging the raw vulnerability of deciding when every path seems laced with thorns. They share the tale of Marcus, a young father haunted by the ghosts of his father's regrets, a man who chose comfort over courage, leaving a legacy of what-ifs that echoed through family dinners. Marcus, carrying that inheritance like a stone in his chest, found himself at a crossroads: stay in a soul-draining sales job to provide stability, or pursue the carpentry apprenticeship that ignited his spirit. The nights were sleepless, his heart a battlefield of doubt. Choice, the book reflects, is not the absence of fear, but the courage to move through it. Marcus chose the apprenticeship, his hands calloused not just by wood, but by the grit of showing up. The emotional depth of his journey, the tears shed in the workshop's dim light, the pride blooming as he crafted his first cradle for his newborn, reveals a truth that pierces the soul: fearing the wrong choice keeps us from any choice at all. In your quiet moments, when anxiety coils like smoke around a decision, to forgive, to leave, to begin, remember Marcus. Let his story soften the edges of your fear, inviting you to ask not, "What if I fail?" but, "What if I soar?" This is the motivational heartbeat of the book. Not blind optimism, but a wise affirmation that every faltering step forward honors the vast, untapped potential within you. As we delve deeper, the narrative shifts to the alchemy of habits, those subtle rituals that choices birth and choices, in turn, sustain. The author paints habits not as drudgery, but as loving conversations with your future self. They illustrate this with the life of Elena, a widow in her 50s whose world had narrowed to grief's gray veil after losing her partner to illness. Mornings were battles against the bed's pull, evenings a void of unanswered echoes. One choice, fragile as a spider's thread, changed the tide. She committed to writing 3 lines of gratitude each night, not grand epics, but honest whispers, the warmth of soup, a stranger's smile. What began as obligation flowered into habit, and habit into revelation. Alina's journal became a bridge to forgotten joys, leading her to volunteer at a community garden, where soil-stained hands met kindred spirits. The book's insight here is emotionally resonant. Habits are the scaffolding for transformation, turning abstract intentions into lived reality. They remind us that discipline isn't punishment, but devotion, a daily vow to the person you're becoming. Think of your own rituals, beloved listener, the coffee savored mindfully, the breath drawn in meditation. Are they bridges or barriers? In Alina's arc, we see the deeper meaning. Habits heal not by erasing pain, but by layering it with light, proving that even in sorrow's wake, choices can cultivate gardens of grace. Let this stir you to tenderness. Start small today, and watch how your future self, years from now, turns back with eyes full of gratitude. Yet, no exploration of choice would be complete without confronting the web of influences that tug at our will. The voices of society, the pull of comparison, the siren call of instant gratification. The book addresses this with a reflective grace, urging us to cultivate discernment as our greatest ally. Drawing from the author's own confessions of wayward detours, they recount the story of Jamal, a talented musician whose dreams were nearly drowned by the roar of practicality. Raised in a family where art was a luxury, not a lifeline, Jamal chose the steady paycheck of engineering over the stage's uncertainty. Success came, promotions, accolades, but so did a hollow ache, a sense of living someone else's script. At 38, on the cusp of a corner office, he paused. A single choice. He dusted off his guitar after a decade, playing not for applause but for the soul's quiet song. Lessons followed, nights composing after long days, rejections from open mics that stung like salt in wounds. But in those vulnerable rehearsals, Jamal rediscovered agency, learning to filter external noise through the sieve of inner truth. The emotional layers here are profound. The grief of deferred dreams, the joy of reclamation, the wisdom that true fulfillment blooms from aligned choices. Practically, the book offers tools, journaling prompts to interrogate motives, mindfulness exercises to anchor in the present, reminding us that discernment isn't isolation, but empowered connection. In your life, where do others' expectations dim your light? Jamal's journey whispers, reclaim it. Choose the path that resonates with your unique frequency, and let that choice ripple into a future harmonious and whole. Woven throughout these threads is the book's luminous emphasis on forgiveness, not just of others but of ourselves for choices past. This is where the tone turns most intimate, like a fireside confession under starlit skies. The author shares vulnerably, we are not defined by our missteps but by the grace we extend to them. Enter Lila, whose choices in youth, a hasty marriage, a career sidelined for love, left her at 42 with a heart scarred by resentment. Divorced, distanced from dreams of writing, she wandered through therapy sessions and self-help aisles, blaming the what was for the what isn't. The turning point came not in an epiphany, but in a choice to forgive. She wrote unsent letters to her younger self, releasing judgments with tears that felt like rain washing clean a dusty window. From there, forgiveness became habit, small acts of self-compassion, like pausing mid-rush to breathe, or celebrating an imperfect page over a blank one. Lila's transformation is the book's emotional core, from bitterness to buoyancy, proving that holding grudges builds walls, while forgiveness opens doors. Deeper still, it reveals choice as redemption's gateway. Every, I forgive, a vote for a lighter tomorrow. Feel this in your bones, the choices you regret are not chains, but chapters. What if releasing them freed you to author anew? This insight, motivational in its mercy, calls us to practical reverence. Start with one forgiveness today, and witness how it softens the soil for growth. As the book ascends toward its crescendo, it beckons us to envision the legacy of our choices, the invisible inheritance we leave in hearts and histories. Here, the author invokes the metaphor of ripples in a pond, one stone cast, and waves touch shores unseen. They illuminate this through the intertwined lives of a family across generations. Grandmother Rosa, who chose resilience amid wartime exile, baking bread not just for sustenance, but as an act of defiant hope. Her daughter Maria, who chose education over early marriage, becoming a teacher who lit sparks in underserved classrooms. And grandson Theo, inheriting that flame, choosing activism over apathy in a divided world. Their stories, layered with the ache of loss and the glow of perseverance, underscore a profound truth. Choices are communal currency, shaping not just our path, but the trails others tread. Emotionally, it's a call to the heart's expanse, the quiet sorrow of unchosen courage and ancestors, the fierce love in passing the torch. Practically, the book guides with legacy audits. Reflect on your influence, align daily actions with enduring values. In Theo's evolution, from a cynical teen to a community bridge builder, we see the deeper meaning. Choices compound across time, turning personal pivots into collective possibility. Let this inspire you, gentle soul. Your decision to mentor, to advocate, to simply show up, it's a gift echoing eternally. Choose with that vastness in mind, and your future becomes a beacon. Finally, as the forest path curves toward open sky, the book circles back to the dawn of it all, the choice to choose. It's a motivational exhale, affirming that awareness alone is revolutionary. The author closes with an open-ended meditation, not prescriptions, but possibilities, inviting you to map your choices like constellations, connecting dots of past and potential. Recall all we've traversed: Sarah's clay-kneading rebirth, Marcus's fear-forged freedom, Alina's gratitude garden, Jamal's harmonious return, Lila's merciful mending, the family's rippling resilience. Each a testament to the book's creed, that your future isn't a distant shore, but a vessel you're steering now. Emotionally, it lands like a warm hand on your shoulder. You've made choices that hurt, that healed, that simply were, and in their mosaic, beauty emerges. Practically, begin tonight. One intentional act, witnessed without judgment. Deeper still, the transformation isn't linear, it's a spiral, ever deepening. As your spiritual companion in this reflection, I leave you with this: you are worthy of the future you build. Choose it with the wisdom of wounds mended, the calm of storms weathered, the motivation of stars aligning. Step forward, beloved, the forest awaits your light.